What's going on YouTube? This is Dan Leone, Plastic Model Building 101, broadcasting from my mom's house today. It's Sunday. It is a beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm with my mom. She's inside reading the paper. We're enjoying this nice clear day, nice and cool. And meantime, I'm with my mom today. I figured if I'm going to build a model, I'm going to build a model outside in the back patio because the air is nice and crisp and cool. Not too bad of humidity, and you got a nice shade. So anyway, we're going to start the building. Today's model kit we're going to start on is the Hasegawa Kawasaki Kai 45 Toryu, also known as the Nick. This particular airplane was basically used as a reconnaissance plane. It was also a fighter interceptor that intercepted incoming B-29 raids over mainland Japan. Anyway, this airplane basically it was a two-seat fighter. Actually, it first flew in 1942, and it was mainly famous for, like I said, intercepting B-29 bombers. So, without further ado, let's get to building. I have here the instructions right here. As you can see, the instructions have been painted in different languages: Japanese, English, and also I think also in German, Spanish, and so forth. So basically, Hasegawa instructions are a little bit more simplified than, to me, I think, in my view. As you can see, here's an exploded drawing of the cockpit assembly and also the engine nacelles. You also have here the paint reference guide right here, and also on the parts map, as you can see, that some of the parts are darkened out because those parts can be omitted if you want. Some of these parts were used on either earlier version aircraft or later version aircraft, depends on what year, whether the airplane was flown in 1943 in the early or mid 40s to about the late 1940s, like around 1944, 45, toward the end of the war. And of course, as you know, toward the end of the war, most of these airplanes were used in kamikaze attacks against the U.S. fleet. So, without further ado, unfortunately, I do not have my airbrush today. I do not have my airbrush today. Can't bring it, so I'm kind of doing everything old school. Anyway, so I have here all my paints. So you can get these containers at any, like the Container Store. Put all your paints in and so forth. So. And I also like to mark my boxes. This is Axis colors. This is for all the Axis aircraft, like German, Italian, Japanese, and so forth. And I also have another box like that for Allied colors, like for your American, British, and mostly American and British, and some Russian aircraft. So of course, Russia, they at first they flew for the Axis, and then later on they flew for they were with the Allies. Same thing with the Italians as well too. So without further ado, let's just get started on our building. Like I said, we're going to be building our model like we were, look, we didn't have airbrushes when we were growing up, so everything was done by paintbrush. Okay, so without further ado, let's get the building. I also have here a tray, one of my mom's bread trays, but don't tell her, okay, I'm borrowing it because this table I'm working on has a lot of holes in it and everything, and God forbid if a part would fall through. So anyway, I'm outside on the back patio, so if you hear some background noises, I'm next to an airport, also next to a golf course. And of course, got my mom's dog Daisy sitting out here sunning herself. And so anyway, let's start the building. I have here this is the canopy. As you see, the parts in the canopy are just well engineered. I mean, very crisp. Everything is individually bagged. Individually bagged, as you can see. If I can get this out. And believe it or not, when the French regained French China from the Japanese in 1945, when the Viet Minh under Ho Chi Minh was coming to power and started fighting the French were also using captured Japanese aircraft, such as Japanese Zeros, Oscars, even some Knicks, Vals, Sonias, and so forth. I mean, they were flying anything and everything they can get their hands on. And then later on, they had Bearcats, Corsairs, SBD Dauntlesses, SB2C Helldivers, and so forth, and Spitfires. So, as you can see here, you can see like the rivets on the canopy. I mean, talk about just well engineered, very well detailed everywhere. And so we're going to set this aside. And we're going to go through the parts. The parts, as you can see, the parts are just very well clean. I mean, what I'm seeing, very little flash, if any. I mean, talk about well engineered, very well made. Hasegawa has really outdone itself. They really outdone themselves. I mean, if you ask me, what are the best Japanese kits on the market today? To me, it's a toss-up. I mean, you got Hasegawa and you got Tamiya. I mean, those are the two main, for me, they're like the two main players. So, if you ask me, Tamiya is, I mean, both of them are pretty much really good kits. As you can see, these kits are very well engineered. I also have here the decals, or for you European types, decals. These are the decals, or decals, or tomato, potato, potato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. Anyway, so as you can see, very nice decal sheet for different squadrons and so forth. So, as you can see, the parts are just very nice and clean. So we're going to get to building. And as you can hear, there's an airplane flying overhead of me, so if it gets real loud, bear with me, okay? So anyway, so we're just going to sort through these parts here, and we are going to start getting the building. Right. As Matthew McConaughey would say, all right. Oh, and I also forgot for the propellers. Here's like a rubber grommet, and man, the Titan's busy today, boy, I tell you. For the propellers and also for the wheels as well too. This is a great, like I said, this is to me, this is a very well engineered. This is a very well engineered kit. So let's get to building. Now, most most Japanese aircraft interiors, it depends on where the aircraft, what manufacturer, because Nakajima also made the Japanese Zero. They also made the Toryu or the Nick. They made different types of airplanes depending on what factory. So normally, the the, uh, uh, the Japanese, basically they had, the cockpit interior was more of a bamboo green. Hopefully I have that. If I do, I'm sure I do. Here we go. Nakajima Army Green. This is from Aeromaster. This is very this paint is no longer around. But man, I gotta tell you, it's a really good paint. So anyway, while I'm getting all organized here, I'm going to sign off for now. This is Dan Leone, Plastic Model Building 101. So enjoy this beautiful weather.